Hello, since there are so many people quarantined for the time being, I just wanted to go ahead and make an instructional video to talk about some of the things that we're going to do in class this week in regards to our compare and contrast essay. So if you have questions about the essay while you're quarantined, you can just come back to this video and hopefully I'll explain everything for you. So under classwork for honors, I'm going to go ahead and go through some of our resources that are listed here and just kind of talk them through and talk about kind of the expectations for the week. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the assignment sheet so that we can look at this. Everyone will get these in copies in class this week as well. But this is the assignment sheet for our compare and contrast essay. So first up, I'm just going to talk about what is a compare-contrast essay. So simply put, it is an essay evaluating the similarities and differences between two subjects. Your subjects will be two of the short stories that we've read in class. We'll go over those in a minute. And you will be evaluating similarities and differences between two short stories in addition to specific literary devices found in each short story. So our difference between compare and contrast, to contrast something is to look for the differences among two or more elements, but to compare is to do the opposite, to look for similarities. A comparison in writing discusses elements that are similar, while contrast in writing discusses elements that are different. A compare and contrast essay analyzes two subjects by comparing them, contrasting them, or both. So for this essay, you are going to be comparing and contrasting two of the following short stories. So you get to choose which two, but you can choose between The Gift of the Magi, The Lottery, The Most Dangerous Game, and The Pit and the Pendulum. So what are you going to be comparing or contrasting about the two short stories? You will be comparing or contrasting three of the following literary elements for both short stories. So you can choose between those three, but the four provided are symbols, themes, characters, and setting. So I'm just going to briefly go through this for each. A symbol is a thing that represents or stands for something else, especially a material object representing something abstract. So our symbol examples for the Magi, we have Della's hair, Jim's watch. For the lottery, we have the black box, the lottery. For the most dangerous game, we have the island, Zaroff's chateau, and then for the pit and the pendulum, we have the cell, the pendulum, and the pit. Themes, what is a theme? A theme in a story is the underlying message or big idea. In other words, what critical belief about life is the author trying to convey in their writing? So our theme examples for the Magi, we have love, sacrifice, wealth, and femininity. For the lottery, we have mob psychology, violence, refusal, and female identity. For the most dangerous game, we have murder, reason versus instinct, and the effects of war. And then for the pit and the pendulum, we have death, fear, and time. For characters, of course, a character is a person or other being in a narrative. Our characters in the Magi are Della, Jim, and Madame Sofroni. In the lottery, we have Tessie Hutchinson, Bill Hutchinson, Mr. Summers. There's a lot of characters in the lottery, so you have a lot of options there. For the most dangerous game, you have Whitney, Rainsford, Zaroff, and Ivan. For the pit and the pendulum, you have the narrator, the Spanish Inquisition. And then finally, for setting. Setting, of course, is the time and place a story takes place, the when and where. When you compare and contrast settings, you consider how the scenes are alike and different. So when you're comparing setting, you should identify what are the similarities and differences in the setting and the events that happen there. And then did you describe the settings and events in the same way? So for page requirement, we will be doing an outline as our rough draft like we've done before. But our final draft, which we will work on starting on Monday next week, your compare contrast essay will need to be 3 full pages, Times New Roman, size 12 font, double spaced. You're going to turn your assignment into Google Classroom as well. So this is an 8-paragraph layout, which is a bit longer than what we've done before. So I'll kind of go ahead and show you some examples as well. Keep in mind, paragraphs should be 4 to 5 sentences minimum. Standard stuff here. You are going to do an outline, but this is kind of a rough draft of what your paragraphs will look like. So, of course, you have introduction. Note the keywords in the essay prompt, compare and contrast. This means you must write a thesis that expresses what two of the short stories we read in class have in common and how they are different. In short, your thesis must address the comparison. So our example thesis, I provided you with 2 example theses here just to kind of help you. And then here is the body paragraph breakdown. So paragraphs 2 and 4 are going to be comparing the same, are going to be over the same literary element. This paragraph, you're going to be comparing that literary element, this one contrasting. Paragraph 4 and 5 is about a different literary element. In paragraph 4, you're comparing. Paragraph 5, you're contrasting. Paragraph 6 is about the third and final literary element that you're choosing. Paragraph 6 comparing. Paragraph 7 contrasting. And then, of course, your conclusion. So, let's go ahead and take a look at our assignment sheet. Excuse me, our rubric, not our assignment sheet. So this is what our rubric looks like. It's worth 44 points. I'm going to go ahead and just go over what it takes to earn all 4s in all the categories. So for compare, contrast, analysis, the paper compares and contrasts 3 literary elements clearly. The paper points to specific examples to illustrate the similarities and differences, and you include only the information relevant to your compare, contrast essay. For ideas, you focus around 2 short stories. For organization, you have all 8 necessary paragraphs. Introduction paragraph, body paragraph, and conclusion, pretty standard here. Make sure you have a hook and thesis. Make sure you have a great topic sentence, supporting examples and explanations, and then make sure you restate your thesis and your conclusion. Word choice, words are lively, precise, and colorful. Tone is suited to the purpose. Essay point of view, of course, write in that third-person narration. You don't use first-person narration such as I, we, or you. Sentence structure, sentence beginnings vary. Sentences vary in length and structures. You don't have anything that's too short and choppy. Grammar mechanics, make sure you proofread. You have minor errors. Length and format, 3 full pages times your Roman size 12 font. And then you get 4 points automatically if your essay is turned in on time, which honors usually doesn't have a problem with. All right. Also, in this little material of resources here, I have provided you with some essay resources and where to find them. So if you are thinking you want to find something specific on Google Classroom that you know we did, but you're not sure where to find it, I have provided this for you. So right here, I give you the topic that you can find it under on Classroom, and then here are all of the materials that you can find under that specific week. So this should just help you kind of when you are writing your essay, if you are like, oh, there's something I remember doing way back in the start of second quarter, this is where you're going to find that. So this is just here to help you. You don't have to use it, but I do recommend taking a look through it. All right, so I have provided you with a paragraph help and an example. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the paragraph help too. This is for you to look through. Essentially what I've done here is I have written out paragraphs with the intention of letting you know what each paragraph should look like. So this is simply to kind of help you with organization, get you thinking about essay writing. So I wrote out what an introduction should look like, what should be in that introduction, and then I provided you with some help within each body paragraph. Take a look through this. I'm not going to read it over to you. But I do kind of give you some help for what each paragraph needs to look like, what each paragraph should have in it, and what your essay should look like overall. So make sure you take a look through this. It's just called Paragraph Help. It is a great resource that I have made for you. And then I've also provided you with an example essay that I wrote. I've changed this a bit from year to year, the way this essay looks, but basically for this, I am comparing and contrasting Shirley Jackson and Richard Connell's short story. So The Lottery and the Most Dangerous Game. Again, I'm not going to read this to you. Just keep in mind when you're writing your essay, you don't need to include these kind of paragraph labels like I've provided here. I'm just kind of doing that to show you what each paragraph is about. I've also highlighted my thesis statement here to give you some idea on what to do that. But as you can see here, I fully wrote out your essay, so definitely take a look through this. Your essay only needs to be 3 pages, and I went a little bit over in my example, so you should have no problem meeting the page requirement for this, as long as you're putting in everything that is necessary. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our classroom. So for class on Monday, you need to make sure you do Journal 42. On Tuesday, you need to make sure you do Journal 43. I'm going to go ahead and just show you your pre-writing activity and your outline as well. So this will be your assignment on Monday, December 6th. Essentially what you're doing is identifying the 2 short stories you're choosing and why, and then you're also identifying the 3 literary terms that you're focusing on, as well as how you're going to compare and contrast those literary terms. So this is worth 8 points, 2 points for identifying your short story selection, and then 9 points for identifying your chosen literary terms or literary devices. So make sure you get this done for Monday. And then on Tuesday, you are going to work on your outline. So I went ahead and provided you with a little guideline here. Essentially, we're going to start working on our outline on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'll work on our outline. Outlines will be due at midnight on Thursday. On Friday, I'm going to work on grading these in class while we watch a movie. And then you will receive all your feedback by Monday. And then on Monday, what you will be doing is working on your final draft. Your final draft will be due Wednesday. Wednesday, let me tell you what date that is. Wednesday, December 15th at 8 a.m. So this is what your outline looks like. Pretty standard outline. It's basically just guiding you through all of the necessary parts of your essay. So I broke down what your 8-paragraph essay should look like. This slide, you're working on your topic, possible titles, and then it takes you through each paragraph and what each paragraph should have in it. And again, I will be using this to write comments on, so make sure you're putting all the necessary information on there. If you have too much text, feel free to make the font smaller in here to fit into the boxes. But I've broken down what each paragraph should have in it, like we went over in our essay writing unit. So body paragraph should have a topic, sentence, evidence and support, explanation of evidence, support, and then a transition or concluding statement. Your conclusion paragraph should restate your thesis, main points, and then have a concluding statement. And then your introduction, of course, should have a hook, background information, and thesis statement. And I provided you with some help on each slide. So just, of course, remember you can go up here and zoom in. I usually typically go to 100. This way you can see everything better. But your outline is due Thursday at midnight, so I can provide some comments on it before you get it turned in. Before you start to work on your final draft. And also, if you want me to take a look at your outline at any point during writing, just let me know, and I will gladly do so. But if you have any questions on your compare contrast essay, come back, watch this video. All these resources are here to help you. And of course, email me if you have any other questions.